Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you to talk about product photography. I thought I'd do this video a little differently than some. I'm coming to you today in my studio area. It's a very multi-purpose room in my basement where I've got, as you can see over this shoulder, I've got my computer, my workstation. Next to that, over this shoulder here, I've got my light box where I do a lot of my smaller object photos and videos. In the next room, I've got a larger table where I do some product photography, as well as a larger background setup for doing people and dogs. And I've got a gym over here and dry fire targets set up for when I practice shooting, for competitive shooting. So again, very multi-purpose room. But again, I want to talk to you today about product photography and the use of backgrounds. Now, I've been doing product photography for a lot of years. Started in the early 2000s doing product photography for luxury wristwatch magazines. Watches are very difficult to photograph, by the way, because of all the reflective surfaces. But I did freelance writing photography in the luxury wristwatch industry for several years, and then transitioned over to doing some freelance work in the firearms industry. Done a lot of knife photography and EDC type photography. All of that being kind of falling into the general category of product photography. And I quickly learned that one of the better ways to enhance your photographs, to make them look more professional, more captivating, more interesting, is to use good backgrounds. But where do you get them? What's a good background? What's not a good background? If you're just kind of getting started out, these are questions that you probably don't know the answer to. I'm going to try to help you. And we're going to take a look at the whole gambit, some low to no cost options for backgrounds, but also some options that may require a little bit of investment. We'll kind of review those, the pluses and the minuses, and how best to use them. Stick around. I think whether you're a competitive shooter like me and maybe hoping to gain some knowledge and techniques in this area to better make yourself more valuable to your sponsors and the products that they might like you to talk about on social media, or maybe you're just wanting to take better photos, EDC photos of knives and pens and watches and things of that nature for social media. This video is for you, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk about the first and probably most basic backgrounds that you'll want to use and work with and practice working with, which is either a pure white or a pure black background. Here, of course, is a pure white background that you can pick up something like this. This is kind of what I call a cork board, or it's pretty stiff. You can use construction paper. Art supply stores usually have this kind of thing. They'll also have black as well. And a pure white or a pure black background is great to work with because you can put your product in the center or even offset, and you have plenty of negative space to put logos, to put writing, to put some basic product descriptions or web links. So pick up, if you don't have any right now, go out and pick up. You'll probably spend less than $10. Again, either some corkboard construction paper, white or black backgrounds. Okay, so the next backgrounds that I use more for smaller object photography, like knives or small pistols, would be these scrapbook backgrounds that you can pick up at like Hobby Lobby or kind of arts and crafts stores. They just have a ton of different, sometimes they're paper, they're sometimes a little thicker. You can see this one is kind of a US flag. Sometimes they're double-sided. This one's kind of like a wood. This one's double-sided. Another wood. I've got a ton of these in here, and again, these will cost you $1 or $2 a piece, but they are smaller, as you can see, with the size of my hand here. So you're obviously going to use this for smaller pieces. The other problem with the paper depending on the quality, sometimes it just doesn't impart the texture that I'm looking for. I want, if I want a stone or a brick or a wood background that's got some texture to it, sometimes the paper doesn't do such a good job imparting that. In other cases, what I will use is wallpaper samples. Now there are lots of places online, Home Depot in fact, that will send you wallpaper samples. I keep some of those in this container as well. And again, these are in some cases even smaller than the paper that we looked for today. But you can see, these do actually have real texture to them, so that creates kind of a dimensionality to your photographs. This one you can really see that the texture going on here, and that provides texture as a desirable quality in your photographs. So definitely look online, or start off with home improvement stores like Home Depot or Lowe's, and look for wallpaper samples as well. And those tend to be real cheap. They'll send those to you for $1 or $2 a piece, and you can quickly pick up a nice supply like I have here. Okay, so another idea for product photography is getting that carbon fiber look in your background. That's really popular. You'll see a lot of YouTubers that review knives or other smaller products will video against what looks like a carbon fiber background. In reality, what they're using is there's some automotive product that you can find on eBay. It's a rolled adhesive carbon fiber that's used, I think, somehow in the interior of cars. Anyway, you can pick it up pretty inexpensively per roll, and you can tape it to a piece of cardboard or a piece of thicker construction paper, and you get something like this. And I take a lot of photos against this, as well as I've done videos against this as well. This works out really well. I've also seen people use these vault cases. This is a vault knife case, and they use the backside of this for kind of the same purpose. It has a very similar look. Again, this is pretty small. The nice thing about this is you can scale it up or down to however big you want. This one's a little bit bigger than a piece of paper, kind of 8 by 10. So pretty good surface area here, whereas this is quite a bit smaller. Okay, I mentioned Home Depot and Lowe's before, and home improvements like that can be a real treasure trove of different background possibilities for product photography. These are actually ceramic tiles. They look a lot like wood. You can, generally speaking, if you find them in an open box, they do have SKUs on them, usually somewhere on the side or on the back, and they will sell them on an individual basis. I think I've got a few of these that I can line up together to make like kind of give that distressed wood deck look. I really like this ceramic tile. Here's another one that I use. It's a larger single tile, but it's black with some, it's kind of a slate with some white running through it. Really nice. The ceramic tends to give a more authentic look too. In photographs, this really looks like wood. And again, you can feel there is actual texture here, and that comes through in the photograph. So if you can find some tiles to work with, they tend to work very well for product photography. Another product to look for in home improvement stores is Pergo type, laminate type flooring. The nice thing about them is that you can probably pick up a whole box of these for $20, $30. and you can make a huge area. Very handy for if you're doing a larger product photography. Like occasionally I have to do photo shoots of rifles or pistol caliber carbines that are quite large, and this tends to just work very nicely. These days they've done such a good job in these engineered flooring products of making it look like wood. This very much has a wood look to it. I've got about a case of this stuff to make, and again, you can make it as small or as big as you need to, which is really nice. You may have thought that I was recording this video either on the floor or on a wood table, when in fact this is just a folding table that, again, I picked up from Home Depot, but this is that same kind of snap together flooring product that I'm using to create a table surface. That's how good it looks if you pick up the right product. So again, pretty low cost, really does a nice job of looking like wood in your photos and your videos. And probably the only downside is because a case, because this is a larger product and can take up quite a bit of space is really the main problem there. Is it just takes up a little bit more space than some of the other options that we looked at. But depending on your needs, this could be real handy. I've even used this in the next room in my larger photo studio to actually create a floor to stand on that was going to be part of the photograph. So a lot of versatility here in picking up a case of these engineered flooring products. Now, there are some manufacturers and vendors of products that can be used for product photography. One that's real popular right now are vinyl backdrops. Now, these can be in all different sizes. This is one of them. It's rolled up right now, but if I unfurl it here, you can see it's another wood type background. These aren't bad. Probably one of the only disadvantages is the best way to store them is rolled up like I have, but unless you have weights, some sort of weighted objects in the corners, it's going to very easily roll back up on you. So it can be a little bit tricky to work with. Also, you may notice in the video here that you're seeing a lot more light reflections on this. Because it is vinyl, it tends to reflect light and that can give it a different quality than actual wood. If this, the reflections on it make it look fake, essentially. So you have to be careful on how you light it and how you present it. But these kind of products, Ink and Elm on Etsy is a popular one for producing these vinyl backgrounds. This is a smaller one that might be geared. I think they market it more directly to food photographers. Again, they're probably dealing in about the same scale that product photographers for EDC items or pistols might need. They also make larger backgrounds that you can hang up for doing portraits and so forth. But I do like vinyl. These vinyl products for one that's this size, maybe 2 foot by 2 foot, you can expect to pay maybe $15 plus shipping. So not horribly expensive, and you can just pick one up here and there to give yourself some variety. So I highly recommend the vinyl backgrounds to kind of supplement some of the other products that we've talked about. Now, similar to the vinyl backgrounds are these photo paper backgrounds. This one is double-sided. It's got a little bit of a different wood on each side. I don't really recommend this over the vinyl because so far the only vendors that I've seen that produce this are in China, and it just takes for flippin' ever to get these. I saw one of these kind of paper background product advertisers on Instagram. It was about $20 to get this shipped. And again, you could pick the backgrounds that you wanted, and it was printed on both sides. Yeah, it's a kind of a thick paper product, and it works out okay. I think I just prefer the U.S. vendors of the vinyl backgrounds over these paper photo backgrounds. They say they're water resistant and durable, but I'm not sure about that. it it just doesn't seem as durable as maybe the vinyl backgrounds would be. So the final thing we're going to take a look at in photographic backgrounds, again, these are products that are made specifically for product photography. They're what I'll call simulated backgrounds. These two are made by a company called Replica Surfaces, and I don't recommend them for a couple of reasons. One, they're extremely pricey. I bought two of these from this particular vendor. This is a simulated concrete. This one is a slate background, kind of a black slate. They're some kind of a particle board. They're pretty rigid. They're pretty darn durable. They're really marketed, this Replica Surfaces company heavily markets to food photographers because you can spill anything that you want on this and wipe it off real nicely. They are kind of handy. They do work well. I will say the cement one in particular does a really good job of simulating a cement background, which looks really nice in a lot of the photographs that I've used for it. Same with the slate. The one reason why I simply cannot recommend, well, two, again, the price. These two were about $140 delivered, so they're roughly $70 a piece, which is just ridiculous. I was curious more than anything to see what they were about, because again, it's the kind of thing you look at them once and then you get spammed with their ads on Facebook and Instagram. So I really wanted to see what they were about. But Replica Surfaces in particular has a Facebook group, and where product photographers can share tips and ideas and how they use these things. And I quickly discovered it's an anti-Second Amendment, anti-gun group, because when I posted some of my photographs of firearms, they would not approve them on the basis of them being firearms. So really can't recommend them based on price or on the company's politics and philosophies. I would say stick with vinyl. You'll spend a lot less money. This one is a very, very similar product. The same kind of pressed board of some sort of material, I'm not exactly sure what it is, with a simulated, this one's a simulated wood. This one came from a vendor who, I think Newborn Photo Products or something like that. They are a vendor of photographic products for baby photographers. And I'm not sure how a baby could be photographed on something this small, but okay, maybe. But they have kind of the same issue as the Replica Surfaces people in that this is just so darn expensive. This one was even more expensive. I paid $83 for this one shipped, and about $25 of that was like shipping from California. This is very light. It's not that big. They should not have charged that level of shipping. It was just absolutely ridiculous. So I really can't recommend them. If you've seen those advertisements, I would stay away from both Replica Surfaces and Newborn Photo Products. So there you have it. Those are some of the different backgrounds that I use for my product photography. Hopefully that gave you some ideas of some uses and some different products that you can utilize. Maybe you have a hand on already, or you can easily pick up to improve your product photography. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care. God bless. We'll see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this production from the Through My Lens YouTube channel. If you did, please click on the like button and do share the video on social media. If you'd like to see more content like it, please do subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and do check out Through My Lens at www.throughmylens.org.